All right, let me just ask. We just have a few questions. Um,
No, love it. Thank you.
you've been leading the parade company for a long time. How has it changed since 2009?
Well, I had been on the board of the parade company prior to becoming the president and
Oh,
CEO.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was. And so I knew, the pitfalls and the things that we needed to fix and improve here. So what we've done in 13, 14 years is set out to pretty much improve everything. And we knew as a team that by improving everything, and that means bigger floats, nicer floats, bigger fireworks, um, great volunteer treatment, all of these things that were good before, but we had to make them great. So we have changed this organization from top to bottom. And as the saying goes, if you build it, they will come. Well, what it did was it allowed us to grow our sponsorship in a really big way because you make things better. People want to be a part of that. And that has been probably the most gratifying, satisfying thing, that we now have a massive group of sponsors, supporters, allowing us to take this organization even to the next level,
Yeah,
if all of that makes sense.
yeah. Um, Obviously, we wanted to talk to you about the new headquarters you want to get into, the new studio. You're into fundraising for that, aren't you? You're pretty
Yeah,
well into it.
we're in the fundraising stage, which we're calling Be a Heart of History. And as you know, we have a development agreement with the city of Detroit to purchase the Brodhead Armory, which is right on the river.
Right.
We will salvage all of the art that can be salvaged. We will then tear down the back end. And on the back end, we will build a two-story building, 130,000 square feet. Simultaneously, we will refurbish the 37,000 square foot front, which is right on Jefferson, back to its glory on the exterior. And then inside that entire building, they'll not only house the parade company and build the floats, but we're also going to house Detroit Public School kids' summer camps for arts and crafts. We're going to have internships. We'll be a huge tour destination for the city of Detroit. We'll be an event center for the city of Detroit and surrounding companies. You'll be able to rent our space.
Wow.
There's going to be a deck right on the Detroit River. The Riverwalk will ultimately come right behind the building. So we're going to be able to activate for kids and families, both in Gabriel Richard Park and on the Riverwalk. There is so much to this, and all of that, and then add in that this blighted building will be reborn again in an amazing way. Of course, we're going to knock down the back end, but the front will be reborn. This is going to be gorgeous, as you see,
Yeah.
in the deck. And it is blighted right now. Also, the neighborhood. This will help the neighborhood. It will help the connection along Jefferson Avenue. The veterans. There will be a veterans office in the building. Veterans will be able to hold a few events in the building throughout the year. They're elated. We're hitting on all cylinders, and we're really not to use this kind of overused phrase, but it's really Parade Company 2.0 because
Yeah.
we bring people together with the Ford fireworks, America's Thanksgiving Parade presented by Gardner White, the S3 Turkey Trot, Hobnoble Gobble presented by Ford. We bring people together in a great way. This is our next step, is bringing people together at our offices, at our building, at our facility to do great things for kids and families and veterans, and also corporations being able to rent this space for all kinds of things. So,
Yeah.
and we're fundraising right now, and we have a bunch of answers in, and we're doing pretty good. And we're waiting on a bunch of answers and continuing to make even more presentations as
Yeah.
we speak.
What's your fundraising goal and where are you at with it?
Our goal is 45 million. We're right now at 13.5 million on what is today, guys? August the
22nd,
August
23rd.
22nd.
Yeah.
23rd, August 23rd, we're at 13.5 million. In fact, we had just found out from Senator Stabenow that there's 3.5 million for this new project in the Senate bill. And we are just so thankful and fortunate that Senator Stabenow saw the importance of this project. She loved it. And so there's a lot more answers to come.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in that stage right now.
Is there a deadline for the fundraising?
Yeah, we've had one extension. The end of September, we've got to show great progress, which we're now doing. And hopefully by the end of September, we'll have even more progress. Because as I said, we're waiting on foundations and other people to let us know if they're in or out. We believe many of them will be in. At that point, we'll be able to show, Mayor Duggan and the city that we have great progress, and then let's keep this thing moving. So I'm fairly confident that we're going to be good on that end.
Is it the city and the mayor that you have to show this great progress to? Who controls that? Is it the city?
Yeah, it's the mayor and
Okay.
And others. Yeah, and we just have to show our progress. And again, we've only been raising money for 15 months. Many projects are 5 years, 4 years, 6
Sure.
years. We've only gone 15 months. We've done pretty well for 15 months. And don't forget, this building's been empty for 20 years. 20 years.
Yeah.
And so here we come, the parade company, with something that'll be a game changer, a real game changer on Jefferson Avenue. And we're excited, and so many other people are excited. So stay tuned on the fundraising. We think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. What kinds of hurdles have you already had to get the project in place, and what kind of hurdles do you anticipate?
Some of the biggest hurdles have been the art. There's art inside, and some of it is damaged badly. Other pieces of art are salvageable. We had to work with the Historic District Commission, and that took years. But right now we received a go ahead. But we committed, and we believe in doing the right thing all the time. So we've hired a conservator, and we looked in many cities for the right conservator. We found one here. And we are going to salvage every piece of art that is salvageable in that building before we demolish anything or change anything.
Salvageable in which building? The Brodhead or your current building?
No, before we go into the Brodhead Armory and start demolishing and building, every piece of art that is salvageable will be salvaged. Cool. And we've hired a conservator. We're working with people from the DIA, Barton Mallow, our construction company, Kramer Design, who has taken over from Rossetti. Rossetti did the first big design, and now Kramer's involved. But we are a team, we're lockstep, and we're going to do the right thing all the time. Yeah.
What is it about your current facility? What makes you need a new headquarters and studio?
We need a new headquarters because pretty much all of the above. It is when it rains, it pours in this building. Water's coming in. It is antiquated. It is just the wrong place to be. It is in the middle of the logistics center of Detroit right now. There's trucks everywhere. For many, many reasons, check every box. It's time to go. We need to move on. And we need a great place for this great team, for these products. These are the heart and soul of our city and state. I mean, the parade is truly the heart and soul when it comes to events. With 1 million people on Woodward, a 25 rating on WDIV, I mean, we do good things. And we need a new home, and we need to become the next, I would say, evolution of the parade company, where bringing people together gets a little closer to home also, right in our building.
How long have you been in the facility you're in now?
I've been in this building for, about 20 years. about
Okay.
20 years. They had moved out, actually, they were right next door about maybe 17 years ago, and then moved over to this building. So yeah, it's just time. It's time.
Why the Broadhead? I mean, it's an iconic Detroit building, but it's been empty for 20 years. So why that
Yeah.
building?
Well, I tell you, you asked why the Broadhead. We looked at a lot of locations, and they just weren't working. We ran into walls at a lot of those buildings, pieces of land. I mean, we just couldn't get started on the project for various reasons, which is fine. This hit us that this building's been empty for 20 years. It's right on the Detroit River. It butts up to Gabriel Richard Park and soon to be the Riverwalk. It just made a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. It's in a visible location, and the design that we're putting to this is going to be just first class. It answers a lot of questions, not just for the parade company, but for the city, the neighborhood. There's just, you talk about win-win. This is a win across the board for everybody.
What kind of shapes the Broadhead in?
Brodhead Armory right now is in horrible shape. There's a massive hole in the roof, has been there for years. There is water inside. The art is crumbling to the ground. It is just not livable. It's really not. And the back end, we build floats. We need a 30-foot ceiling. So the
Right.
bottom level of our new building on the back end is going to have 30-foot ceilings. I'm sorry, 20-foot. And then the upstairs is going to have 30-foot. So it all just makes sense. The location, the activation, the neighborhoods. We're clearing up a piece of blight, but we're also keeping the historical flavor by keeping that 37,000 square foot frontage, which is incredible. And it's going to look just like the day it was built.
Yeah,
That'll
be cool. You guys are pretty busy. You got the fireworks, you got the parade, you got Hobnobble Gobble. How is getting the new facility going to help you get all that done?
Well, we also have the S3 Turkey Trot. I mean, there's a ton, and we build every float and we make every costume. How's it going to help us? Spacing, actually having a new setting for the float building. It's tough right now. We're going to have state-of-the-art exhaust systems and things that will really help when it comes to our sculpting artists. They'll have their own stations. They'll be set up in a very professional manner. Everything that we're planning in that building is the vision and the dream to do things right. And meeting rooms, the ability to host tours in a much more proper way. And events. People want to rent this current building all the time, and we say no. But they'll be able to rent the new building. In fact, we're already getting calls, and we haven't even raised the money yet. So it's promising. It really is.
That kind of says people have confidence that you're going to be able to raise the money. I mean, they must have confidence in you.
I like to think of it that way, that people have confidence that we're going to get this done. I know this, the reaction when we hit this publicly was unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. People saying, you've got to get this done. This would be fantastic. The parade company means the world to our city, region, and state. The events that you do bring people together like none other. Yeah, we've got to get this done, and people feel great about that. Yeah,
I think you're right. The confidence they're expressing in you and everything, and all the things you do. What do you think it all means to the people? I mean, they're obviously showing support for you, so it must mean something to people.
I'll tell you what, these events mean so much to people. I'll give you a great example. I was CEO of Big Boy Restaurants many years ago. We were sponsors. And I knew how big the parade was and what it meant to people. But taking this role and actually running it, and getting like direct feedback from people is so heartwarming. I cannot even explain it to you. The reaction of people to what we do and what it means in their life. When we pulled off that virtual parade during the pandemic in 2020, you would not have believed the reaction, the cards, emails, texts, calls that we received, that even though it was more of a virtual type of parade, people woke up on Thanksgiving morning and everything felt good again. And that really hit us, that we persevered and we did the right thing, as hard as it was, that we did the right thing for people, because this means everything. This is it's a fabric of their lives. They parade in Detroit. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's our job to continually make it better and do all the right things. And that's how we live every day here.
Yeah. I can see you're having trouble drumming up enthusiasm for all of this. But what you're on the board before you became the president. Now you've been the president for 14 years. What attracted you to the president's job?
Oh boy. Well, my run was over at Big Boy Restaurants in the end of 2008. If you recall, there wasn't a lot happening in a good way in those years.
Right.
The last thing I wanted to do was to move out of this region and out of this state. And this popped up. And originally I was thinking, wow, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure. And I went through the process, which was great to go through, the questions and all of that. And ultimately, Matt Cullen called me and said, "Hey, Tone, you did great, and everyone would love you to do this. I think you ought to do it." And I said, "Man, I've got to think this through. I love the parade company more than anything." And so what I did, and I'm being very honest with you, we had a family discussion. I have 3 kids and my wife, and it was unanimous. They said, "You need to do this because Detroit needs this. Detroit needs this company to be great, needs these events to be great." And I said, you guys feel very strong about this. And they said, "Oh, we do." And they said, we're not concerned at all. They said, more money will come as you grow this thing, and for the family and so on. And I then felt really good. I felt good about it from day one. Otherwise I wouldn't have even, gone through the process.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, what they had to say, and ended up taking it. And but I knew this needed to go through an evolution, and this great team, really, really pushed it through, and they understood, like when I explained what we needed to do, they said, "We're all in, let's go." Because they had felt the pressure previously, and, was the parade company going to be here, and were the events going to happen? And the whole goal was to make this a company where nobody would ever say again that maybe we can't have the parade, or maybe we can't have the fireworks. Those days are gone. We have really, really turned the corner here in an amazing way, thanks to amazing people, sponsors, the city, the mayor, the police. We're rolling right now, and now it's time to get into a new home. So that's the story of how I ended up here, and I'm so happy that that's the way it turned out, because we've been able to do great things. And I must tell you, my kids were right. By working with this team and fixing this, we made a great mark on our city, and that I feel better about that than maybe anything.
Yeah, you should have told the kids, "Okay, if you want me to do this, you guys got to wear some of the big heads."
Yes.
How big is the team?
We have 17 people full time. I call it a cast of thousands. We have amazing people here. And it starts with Jessica Kaminskis, our Chief Operating Officer, who started as an intern out of Central Michigan University years ago. And it just continues right through. We just have great people. We really, really do. They
Yeah.
care. They really care.
Apparently I went
And
to the wrong school.
yeah, but here's what they really understand.
Yeah.
They really understand that you've got to run this like it's a company. It's a nonprofit, and we stick to our mission every single day. But you also have to be fiscally responsible. You've got to be guest-centric, people-centric. You've got to understand every avenue of this company to make it successful. And that's really what makes it great. It really does.
How is Parade Company funded?
We are funded by our sponsors. We don't get a lot of endowments, grants. We get a few, which we're so thankful. Not major dollars, but they're great. But it's really all sponsorship. So when we sell float sponsorships and balloon sponsorships, and we sell tickets to Hobnobble Gobble or the Ford Fireworks fundraiser, when we put on the show itself, that's how we fund the parade company.
What's your budget?
Well, we have annually brought it bottom line close to $1 million a year for the past 7-8 years. And that's after increasing our expenses by $2 million a year more than the day I walked in. We knew we had to fix everything, which we did and are doing. We continue to. But that led to a bottom line of being able to put money in the bank, as I said, so no one can ever say that there won't be a parade, and there won't be Ford Fireworks or an S3 Turkey Trot or anything. We're now in that position of being a little more comfortable, but it's because of our sponsorships and ticket sales and people believing in what we do and all that we do. That's the key.
Yeah. What's the one achievement or that you're most proud of since you've been there?
Wow. There's a few things. I most proud. I think that we have really taken this organization and the events that we put on and made them world class. That's a great feeling. I think another thing that I'm very proud of is this team and being able to build a team and to give them an opportunity to grow in their career. Because I believe that leadership, you have a responsibility not only to the brand, the company, the organization,
Right.
but also to the people who are willing to make this their career. And if somebody makes it their career, I believe you've got to do everything to make them successful also. So, by being able to grow this organization, we've been able to grow their careers in many ways.
Yeah.
Also now people want to work here all the time. People say when there's an opening, we want to come to the parade company. So that's a good thing also. The other part is that we make it right for our sponsors. I'm very proud of that. When you become a sponsor of the parade company, you get things that you might not get in other areas. We try to make you so visible with radio and television interviews, constantly mentioning your company. We make all types of things available to our sponsors. And I think that is proven by Gardner White now being our presenting sponsor through 2031. They felt it when they started just a few years back, and they wanted to extend, and they have extended through 2031, which we are so proud of. That says it all. It really
That's a heck of a commitment.
Yeah, it is. It really is. They're a great company. They are great people. And look, we were so fond of what the Van Elsander family did for us, Art Van, for years. We don't forget. We really don't. And Art Van was very good to this organization in a big way. And now Gardner White. And so many more of our sponsors from Blue Cross Blue Shield in Michigan and Huntington Bank and DTE and It just goes on, and if I name them, I'm gonna get in trouble. But there are so many who do so many great things with us. We're very fortunate, but again, it was up to us. It was up to us to improve everything that we do, everything. Also, we are now on television in 185 cities across America. That's a big deal. So the parade is broadcast either live or tape delayed in 185 cities across the country.
Wow, that's a
Pretty
lot.
powerful. It's a lot, and we're able to put the Detroit heart and soul right on a big stage.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I think it's safe to assume you're going to reach your fundraising goal. When would you expect work to start on the new place, and when are you hoping to be actually in it?
I would hope, we'll give you the dream scenario. I would hope to raise at least 3/4 of the money by the end of this year, which will allow us to sign all the papers and actually own this building. We would then start building immediately, again, salvaging the art first and so on. And wouldn't it be special, again, this is the dream, wouldn't it be special to move into the new parade company headquarters on Jefferson Avenue in 2026, which is also the 100th anniversary of America's Thanksgiving Parade presented by Gardner White.
That would be cool.
It would be quite a year, wouldn't it? It really would.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah. So once you're in, what's next? Where do you see the parade company headed?
Oh, it's doing all that programming. The largest summer camp for Detroit public school kids for arts and crafts, right at the building. All kinds of things. So our work is going to be cut out, but what that extra money is going to do for us, like for the tour revenue and the rental revenue, because we're gonna have a whole division renting out the one level, to bring in events, fundraisers, and it'll be around all of the floats. We're gonna have more revenue then to do even bigger and better things for the parade and the fireworks and the things that we put on. So it's a trickle up effect that's going to make everything better for our events and for the people in the city, region, and state.